Welcome to Executive Next Level, and today, as you know, we're taking this opportunity with this video blog to speak to leaders within the region, the Middle East region, and on a number of levels. One is to gauge their personal leadership and also leadership of others and the skill sets and so forth. Today, I'm very happy to be here with David Youssef, who's the Managing Director of Now Health Insurance. David and I have known each other for a little while, so it's great to connect with you again, David. I'm going to go straight into the questions, if I can. To start with, in terms of self-leadership, you've been in the Middle East region for quite some time. You, in fact, I believe you were born here, that's right? In the...
Not really, no. I came here 17 years ago. I've been in this region for about 17 years, like I said, and coming here was a fluke in my case. A lot of people, it wasn't planned. I was in the US at the time, and I just decided to come and see what's out here. And 17 years ago, in my specific industry, there was nobody there. So I guess I was at the right time, at the right place, and the opportunities presented themselves.
And but that must have been a huge step for you anyway, moving country and then arriving in this part of the world, and stepping in, I guess, to a whole new environment. What was it about in terms of how did you manage yourself in terms of self-leadership? What did you have to dig deep into to create this level of success that you have now?
Very good question, Nick. Well, one of the things is, again, having worked in the West, I was educated in the US, I'm originally an Arab, and coming to this region, and the biggest issue is the huge gap of knowledge at the time, originally. And that is part of leadership, as you know. It is, how do you streamline and narrow the gap? You know, what you want to try and do is take what you've learned in the West and bring it here, but at the same time try and fine-tune it for the region. That's something extremely difficult. How that relates to leadership is very interesting, because once you come here, first you've got multitudes of clients, and the clients come from different backgrounds, ethnic groupings, different nationalities, and coming here and trying to communicate with a lot of these people was extremely difficult at the beginning, but over time you adapt and you bring the style from wherever you come from and bring it and what you've learned and try and fine-tune it for the region. Very important, because at the end of the day, it's the leadership in terms of the market, and leadership in terms of internal working with your staff is also very important, because your staff should mirror society. And they actually come from the same thing, different nationalities, different ethnic groups, different religions, and try and make it into what we call a melting pot. My experiences and my education in the US, I guess, did help a lot in that, because I did learn how to do things the professional way. Yeah, try and do it properly from the beginning. Because as we all know, and it's not it's an elephant in the room in this part of the world, is a lot of things happen in differently in terms of the market, in terms of acquisition of clients, and as we've seen it grow and sophisticate, compliance is becoming a huge part in this region. Compliance, corporate governance, so a lot of these things in terms of leadership, you have to make sure that you are credible, that you're honest, that you're passionate about what you do, but at the same time you have to be credible internally as well as externally. Internally first, because you want to make sure that whatever vision you have is translated down and is believed by everybody that is working with you, and therefore I think that it is extremely important that you or whoever comes to this region doesn't get tangled up and go with the flow, as they say, and I call it the herd mentality, because my competition is doing that, I'm gonna do that as well. No, stick to your principles. Come here, work properly, try and fine-tune your professional expertise, try and adapt them to the market, but at the same time, keep it at a very honest and level playing field.
You talked about adapting there from an American upbringing, if you like, or a business experience, and then bring it to the Middle East. What two things would you say that you had to adapt very early on in that transition?
The level of experience, the level of expertise, and sometimes people, bring a lot of experience that is not really required at that particular point in time. It does help to have a lot of knowledge. I'm not saying it doesn't. It definitely does. But sometimes you're talking to lay people and you can go over their head. You've got to try and take that, break it down, and simplify it into the components and prioritize it. I mean, a lot of information is misinformation out there. What you want to try and do is take what is a priority, what is important to your business, what's important to your market, what's important to the society, and just and summarize it and make it very clear and concise. And that is one of the biggest issues, is communication. Because again, like I said, multinationalities, multi-ethnicities, and try and communicate with the various people. There's a lot of sound, sometimes a lot of things get lost in translation. So communication as a leader is extremely, extremely important. And the second thing that you adapt is, and it's not really adapting, it's actually trying to stay the line, is as a leader, you have to be honest, you have to be sincere. And, unfortunately out there's a lot of things that are being done underhanded, or have been for a while. Things are getting better now. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, and these are some of the things that are very important, is stick to your principles when when you do it. Don't do the herd mentality. Don't run with the crowd and say, oh, because they're doing it, I'm going to do it, or else I'm going to lose the business. And you have to lead by example, because if you do it, then everybody that is working with you and following you is ultimately going to do it as well. And that definitely affects your brand name, as a person, because I believe that we also, it's a small, a lot of these GCC markets are small markets, so you can establish a personal brand name, I call it, for yourself, because and that's your reputation. It takes a hell of a lot of time to build a reputation and only 1 second to destroy it. So stick to your principles and be sincere.
So you mentioned a few things there. I'll paraphrase maybe: communication, absolutely critical. Being aware of the noise in the background and trying to reduce that, being very focused and clear. Obviously, honesty and authenticity in your style as well. That's great, David. I want to go back to you for a moment, because you and I have known each other for maybe 8-9 years, I think, as acquaintances, maybe longer, who knows. And the first time I met you, I was surprised. You came in and straight away you were asking questions to me about my business development and so forth. I could see that's a passion of yours anyway. What has created that passion for development in you?
Interesting, actually. I'll tell you a quick story, and I know we don't have much time left, but I guess I was born to do that. I call myself a born salesman, but again, it's not just the salesmanship. It's interest in people. I am interested in people. I believe I am a compassionate person, and I'd like to understand people's backgrounds. I'll give you a small story. I realized, in college, I actually went to college and started majoring in business, but I didn't really know what I really wanted to concentrate on. And I realized what my calling was when I took my first marketing course. And I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I want to do. And, it was perfect. And ever since, I've been in marketing, business development, and building, not just business development, because business development I've taken it to the next level. And this is actually the third business I help build in this region in the 17 years I've been in this region right now. So I've amassed, I believe, a wealth of information about the markets and about the industry that I work in. I am hoping that eventually when I leave here, I'll leave this place a better place than I took it over.
But there must be a fighter in you somewhere, because in terms of your history, your background, you've had the odds stacked against you, right?
True. Yes. I guess I've got a physical handicap. I had polio when I was younger, but again, that's something that is always there in the background, but it doesn't affect me. On the contrary. I've always believed that anybody can achieve anything that they set their mind to. And I credit that a lot to my environment, mainly my parents when I was growing up were always treating me like any normal kid. And what I did is I grew up believing in myself and believing that I can do whatever I set my mind to it. And I've always worked with objectives in mind. I've never, done something without ultimately at least trying to plan the roadmap ahead.
David, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to chat with you, and we wish you, and I know it's going to be a success with your new venture, because I know how successful your other ventures have been. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. And we'll catch up with you at the Executive Next Level on our next interview. Thank you.